Welcome to another edition of That's Entertainment with me, Christopher Brown, and
Me, Mike Nichols.
there's no business like show business. And today we're talking about the one night of show business where Broadway dims its lights and celebrates their own. The Tony Awards. The nominations are out, and we will talk about the highs, the lows, and the surprises. Then we'll answer that age-old question on most people's minds. Did Diddy do it? Then up north in Canada, the
Hmm.
CBC's two longest running shows are coming back for another season. And then we will be answering your questions. The entertainment world has been busy this month, Michael. How have you been?
Like running around nonstop, my show has been going up, so I've been in the throes of that. The reviews are starting to come in. We're a smash.
Smash hit. You're a bigger smash than Smash the Broadway musical.
Amen and hallelujah.
Speaking of Broadway, three shows Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, and the Bona Vista Social Club led the pack of the 78th annual Tony Award nominees announced earlier this month, picking up 10 nominations apiece. Now, the nominations, which were announced by Tony Award winners Sarah Paulson and Wendell Pierce, also included a slew of Hollywood stars being nominated, including George Clooney, Sarah Snook, Sadie Sink, and Bob Odenkirk were all nominated. Broadway's biggest night is set to be hosted by Wicked star Cynthia Erivo, which will be held on June 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m., Mountain Standard Time at New York City's Radio City Music Hall. Mike, initially, because you are the Broadway person, and well, I'm not going to have much to say in this topic, what were your initial thoughts on the nominations here?
A lot of it went as predicted. I think the biggest jump out that shocked me was that we had six Best Actor in a Musical nominations and only five Best Actress in the musical nominations when there is a lengthy list this season of uh Broadway women on Broadway performing at a very high quality level and not as many shows prominently featuring men that it felt odd. So there must have been a tie or something that lended itself to that because I don't there's a couple of those names on the list I'm shocked by, but overall it was very expected. A lot of the shows I've seen for this season have been nominated and I think deservedly are nominated. We're also starting to see a backpedaling of UK transfers getting tons and tons and tons of awards. It used to be you go in the UK and then you transfer and it shines. Now you start to see it kind of backpedaling. I do think the biggest UK transfer that's here that's done very well is Picture of Dorian Gray with Sarah Snook. It is a one-woman show, and that's kind of I think why that tend to transfer tend to have a lot more success. Because one person acting on stage for 2 hours opposite nobody else is very impressive.
I can imagine. Prior to recording, I traditionally try and do at least one or two takes of the opening monologues and sort of the write ups that I do. And every time that I read Sarah Snook's name, I kept on wanting to say Sarah Snooky. I don't know why. I don't know why I have the Jersey Shore on my mind these days, but there is a glimpse into the background of Chris Brown's mentality in 2025, in May of 2025. I want to talk about sort of the big four categories. And for those who may
Sure.
not know, the big fours are best play, best musical, best revival of a play, and best revival of a musical. You said that you've seen most of the shows this year in this category, and I kind of want to sort of start with the best play. So the nominees are English, The Hills of California, John Proctor is a Villain, Oh Mary, and Purpose. Now, we've chatted about Oh Mary on the show beforehand. It is about Mary Todd Lincoln, who is played by a famously out queer actor playing the role of Mary Todd Lincoln and sort of what she is going through. Is there any odds-on favorite in this category for yourself? And the only reason I'm going with Oh Mary is because, well, you talked about it, so I'm going to assume that it's good.
So Oh Mary was supposed to be a limited run show. In fact, it was supposed to close in the middle of August of 2024. Cut to now. where it's been over almost a year now that it's on Broadway, and that every time they've been trying to close it, they keep extending it to now. I think it's officially an open run, which it should be. I think that has a really good shot at winning. However, keep your eye on John Proctor's The Villain. That one is getting a lot of praise. A lot of folks are going to it, finally seeing it, loving it. And it's just Oh, Mary's fun. We love a comedy. We love a raucous, fun comedy. John Proctor's The Villain has more substance to it and a little more weight to what it's saying. That it is a better play
Can I
in
ask
terms of
what
the
it's it about?
sure.
Like, is it like, because I'm thinking when I read John Proctor as a villain, I'm thinking like John Tucker Must Die, the movie that came out in the early 2000s. Like, is that similar or is it completely different?
So it is about an English class, and they're reading The Crucible in their English class, and in reading this, they uncover sexual assault in their own lives, and they navigate that and the feelings of that and linking it to the crucible. And ultimately, the message of the play is why is John Proctor lauded as this hero because of all X, Y, and Z that he did that maybe is not so great in how he treated his wife and treated the town and community, et cetera, et cetera. And then linking it back to the present day, dealing with the sexual assault and the trauma of this high school class. And it's one of those shows that I've not gotten to see it yet. I've spoken to a producer who uh, is attached to the show. I have so many friends that have seen it. It's actually on my list that once my show is done, I'm flying as fast as I can in my little car to go see it because I do think from what I've heard from folks, it's absolutely incredible, and I would very much love to see it. And just from how it's been described, I think that you can see that one uh, really kind of sneak a win in there,
For best musical? So while you have
or for best
your
play.
best play for those that's sort of hedging your bets. Is there a dark horse here, or is John Proctor as a villain? Is that the dark horse, or is O'Mary the dark horse in this race?
No, it's a two show race. It is O'Mary and John Proctor's the villain. I would love to see Hills of California get it. Hills of California, unfortunately, is not open, and it's very hard to win an award if your show is closed. And as good as Hills of California was, I think it being closed is what's going to unfortunately lead to it not winning. Same with English. Purpose currently is on Broadway. That's another one. I've not gotten to see that one. I would love to. It's on my list, actually. John Proctor's the villain and Purpose in the same day. Talk about emotional trauma. Apparently, I just want to go through it. Um, but I'm curious if Purpose, after once people start watching it, how it gets picked up. But I think O'Mary and John Proctor are the top two picks here.
So I want to head over to Best Musical, and the nominees are Buena
Yeah.
Vista Social Club, Dead Outlaw, Death Becomes Her, Maybe Happy Ending, and Operation Mincemeat. Now, uh, everyone knows the Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, Bruce Willis version of Death Becomes Her. Not everyone might have seen the movie Operation Mincemeat that was on Netflix a few years ago. I have not heard anything about Buena Vista Social Club, but with it leading the pack of 10 nominations for it and Death Becomes Her, I'm assuming that race comes down to those two potential shows, and there could be a split where another one comes up the middle and potentially wins. What's your thoughts on Best Musical in these five, I would say five probably good shows?
So around 2003, which was when Wicked and Avenue Q were both nominated for Best Musical. It used to be whatever's the big box office success wins, whoever blah 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 wins. What it's now turned into in that race, there was a big campaign from Avenue Q that said Wicked's fine. Wicked doesn't need the award. If we don't win the award, we don't we may not be open for much longer. So what this is now turned into is what is an incredible show that deserves to win, that's maybe not seeing the level of success in the box office that it needs to survive. We saw that with Kimberly Akimbo winning. We saw that with oh God, my brain is just not functioning. But there it frequently Avenue Q ended up beating Wicked because of that. Um,
Which, for
right
those who
now
have not
with
seen Avenue Q, for those who have YouTube, I viewer discretion is advised. I would suggest go checking out Avenue Q because I learned about this in the last few months, and I can say it is a hilarious romp through some very disturbing puppetry. That's all I could say on that without getting censored by the CRTC in Canada. What about yourself, Mike?
well, I would say for Avenue Q, it's if Sesame Street was written by the people who did South Park. It's funny. It's so funny. Um, and I love that they've not even attempted to like update it. They've just said, it's fine. Um, Death
So,
Becomes Her is great. I had so much fun watching it. I think it doesn't need it.
so what
It does
does
not need
does
it.
Bona Vista Social Club need it?
Shockingly, I mean, it does, but I don't think it has any chance at winning. I think it's going to be one of those that it just gets a lot of nominations. The ones that this is going to come down to is Dead Outlaw and Death Becomes Her. I think that the other three, or not Death Becomes Her, Dead Outlaw and maybe Happy Endings. That was where my brain wanted to go. Those are the two that you're going to see. Maybe Happy Endings, it's a four-person musical. It is a little bit more of a high arts script, a high arts production. It's really beautiful. It's based in Filipino culture. It's it's incredible. Or not Filipino, Korean. My brain is not functioning today. It's a really
You get the
incredible.
best work when Michael's brain isn't working on a Wednesday
Oh, you
afternoon.
get the most unhinged version of me, is what you get. Um, I think maybe Happy Ending, and out of all of them, maybe Happy Ending's the strongest show. Like it is the strongest material. And I think that you're gonna see that win. It was really not doing well in the winter. And then when Swept Away closed, a lot of conversation came up of like, hey, we let this really incredible show close. I didn't like it very much, but we let this really incredible show close. Maybe Happy Endings is the same sort of thing, fairly artistic. It's not getting the attention it needs. It's not getting the crowds. What are we going to do? And then now, out of nowhere, it's gotten this really lovely groundswell. So I think you're gonna see maybe Happy Ending take it. Um, the others, I would be a little shocked. I think that this one is fairly locked in with maybe Happy Ending.
So quickly for best revival of a play, Eureka Day, Thornton Wilder's Own Town, Romeo and Juliet, and Yellowface. Any odds-on surprises there, or odds-on favorite in the sort of the 2 minutes you have left here in this segment?
I would love to see Eureka Day win. I couldn't afford Our Town or Romeo and Juliet because of how star-studded they were. They just tickets were like 300 to 700 per show. I can't afford that. And I just never made it to Yellowface. It closed too quickly. This one's a weird category because all four of them are closed, so it could go to any of them. I would love to see Eureka Day. It's technically a new play. It just had a very successful run off Broadway that they had to consider it as a revival because it wouldn't be fair to the other plays.
Now, the one category I did want to talk about quickly, and this is the one that I actually have some actual like knowledge about because I know who's actually in some of these shows. And that's best revival of a musical, which is Floyd Collins, Gypsy, Pirates, the Penzance musical, and Sunset Boulevard. And now I know Sunset Boulevard because Patti LuPone has been doing a massive tour for her show Agatha All Along. And in it, I think every category that they talked about Sunset Boulevard. And she mentioned the actress playing the lead role, and I'm forgetting her name right now, Nicole
Shirt
Scherzinger.
singer.
Short singer, and she was, for those who might not know, she was originally from Pussycat Dolls, and now she's in Sunset Boulevard and Pirates of Penzance. The musical is David Hyde Pierce of Niles Crane fame of Frasier, and Jinx Monsoon of RuPaul's Drag Race. So, in your honest opinion, am I close with those two potentially picking it up, or is it going to go to Gypsy?
It's not going to Pirates of Penzance. Pirates of Penzance underperformed at the Tonys. It's not, there's no universe where it gets it. It's because there was exactly four musicals that could be nominated for this category, and all four of them got it. Floyd Collins, again, no shot. Would love to see it. Love the music. No shot. It's going to come down to Gypsy or Sunset Boulevard, which is also where, unfortunately, Best Actress is probably going to come down to. I think you're going to see Sunset Boulevard get Best Revival, and you're going to see Audra get Best Actress.
Any snubs of this year's 78th annual Tony Awards?
Yeah, where was Boop?
What do you mean?
Boop
Oh,
was
that's
not in Best Musical. It underperformed, and I'm very upset over that because I really wanted it to do better, and it needs to basically she needs to win Best Actress in a out of nowhere as an upset in order for that show to keep running.
but you
And
think
it's
Audra McDonald's gonna win Best Actress for a lead in a musical, right?
yeah, she's the most celebrated actress on Broadway. She's the only actress to win. She's the only person to ever win all four acting categories, actress in a leading role and supporting role in a musical, and then actress in a leading role and supporting role in a play. She's the only person to do that, like point blank, period. And she, I think, has like 30 like she's got an obscene number of nominations.
So what's the over under that Ariana Grande makes an appearance in the opening song of the Tonys with Cynthia Erivo hosting this year's Tony Awards with a performance of something from the B side of or the B movie or for good movie of Wicked? What do you think?
Oh, I don't think we're going to see Ariana there.
You don't think so?
No, no.
Uh, That's
Ariana has really the only thing she's done on Broadway is 13, the musical, when she was 13, and she wasn't even a big name there. Like, she has no reason to be there. She's not even a part of the Academy or the voting body for the Tony Awards. So I'd be shocked if she was there. I don't think she's going to be there.
maybe we'll see some past performances of Elphaba from all the other nominees who have been nominated on stage as well with her, because they're all basically nominated this year or in some play that has been
Yeah.
nominated. So I
There's a
want
lot
to
of
turn.
Alpha Buzz.
There certainly is. I want to now turn to our second story, and you may know him as Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Love Combs. He built an empire from beats, blings, and bravado, but now the man who made Bad Boy a household name is center stage in a very different kind of drama. In recent months, Sean Combs has been involved in focus of multiple civil lawsuits alleging a pattern of abuse, coercion, and trafficking stretching back decades. Now, these claims filed by former partners, associates, and employees paint a dark portrait of a man behind the music. Allegations include sexual assault, drugging, physical violence, and operating what some lawsuit described as a sex trafficking enterprise. Combs has vehemently denied all accusations, calling them offensive and outrageous. But the floodgates opened after a November 2023 lawsuit by singer and ex girlfriend Casey Ventura, one that was settled in less than 24 hours, sparking both questions and more claims. What followed was a wave of new lawsuits under New York Adult Survivors Act, which chillingly similar allegations. And now the whispers have turned into headlines and potentially a federal case, with recent law enforcement raids on Combs' properties in Los Angeles and Miami, and a reported grand jury in play. The entertainment world is watching this court case unfold closely. Mike, this story keeps on getting odder and odder and more intriguing as news comes out from the courthouse in New York. While the accused is innocent until proven guilty by the courts and by our definition, so we don't get sued, what is your take on the downfall of Diddy, Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, or whatever he's called now?
He, hmm, he is definitely got an uphill climb to prove his innocence. There is a insurmountable amount of evidence against him, and he's currently in jail. Essentially, they did not give him bail. They know he can flee the country, and they are
Well,
not
he
gonna
did
allow
at the
that.
first, right?
Yeah, and he did. And that's part of why they're not giving him bail and why he is dealing with this all. Um, and they keep trying to make claim after claim denying things. I think the most shocking thing is that they ended up clearing out the court of folks and showing the jury the multiple videos, the freak off videos, as they were called, of Diddy engaging in inappropriate sexual play. And there's just so much physical evidence against him. They have every day it's like new people taking the stand against him. There's a lot of big name celebrities being named throughout, either as possible victims that are going to be speaking. Kid Cudi, I believe, either has spoken or is about to speak in court. Um, and he's an alleged victim that was allegedly threatened with death. Um, it's not looking great for Diddy. I think that, yeah,
So can I ask a question? And this has been on my
sure,
mind for the last few weeks. I've been reading this, I've been following along because I try to keep up on
sure.
what's going on in the entertainment. And this is what most people in the entertainment world are talking about right now.
Yeah.
But there's always been those rumors, right? The things that are like said, but it's like, oh, is it true? Oh, well, we know it's true, but we don't actually come out and say it. And you just mentioned briefly, and this is the part where I want to sort of pick up on is there's people who have been named, like other celebrities have been named. There are people who are being brought down because of the actions of this man or the alleged actions of this man. And I say alleged because they're still not proven guilty. He's not proven guilty until he's innocent until proven guilty. If you were a celebrity watching this unfold right now, the worst thing that could come out of anyone's mouth in that courthouse is your name if you're a celebrity. How much should, and this is a PR question, how much should potential artists, actors, people who have been in those circles of Sean Combs start proactively being upfront with their um, connections to him, or should they just sit back and wait and hope to God they don't get named like others are?
Oh, it's too late.
Is it?
It's way too late. Yeah. It's far too late. You should have already come forward and said something the minute his house was raided. Like the minute. Instead, you're seeing now a lot of artists are stepping back and being very quiet. Usher is one of them. Jay-Z is one of them. Um, and that's the thing. There was a list of names that was dropped by the defense, or a list of names was dropped with no clear indication. So that was Kid Cudi's name was on it. And folks went, wait, why is Kid Cudi on here? What's going on? And then as things came out, it went, oh, he's on here because he was a victim and there was harm, or there was a threat against his life made allegedly by Diddy. Like things like that. So it's also like you don't know if you're going to be named as a victim or a perpetrator, and like how much of that information is going to be readily released. It's the same thing that happened with God, what's his name? Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein.
And I was even going to
A
say
whole bunch of people were
Harvey
named.
Weinstein as well, right?
Yeah,
Like,
it's these big cases like this. You don't know how you're going to be named and what capacity you're going to be named. So it's almost better to not say anything. If you know that you were like involved or you witnessed stuff, you needed to then come forward and start like getting your name out there sooner. Like the fact that Usher has not said anything and is being named a big player in this whole universe that's going on is concerning.
so, and this comes to the back to the bigger, broader story because these allegations are not just new. Has been going on for some time now.
Yeah.
We just mentioned Harvey Weinstein as well. He was proven guilty of abuse and sexual assault. Um, at what point in time do we have to start taking the people who come forward with these stories true? Because it seems like this has been a train colliding with a wall for some time now. It's been going, and we finally have hit the wall. And now the sort of the train carts are all open, and we all can see what's inside and what has been going on for the last few years, few decades even. At what point in time do we have to start sort of knocking celebrities off their pedestal and start looking at them as people who do have dark histories in them and potentially criminal activities in them that should not be held up to a higher standard than anyone else in this world?
until someone like, I mean, we should always take every allegation seriously, but the issue is folks are not moving forward with legal action. And that's where it's hard to hold people accountable. Because I can sit there and I can say, oh, all these allegations have been made against, what's his
X, Y,
name?
and Z.
X, Y, and Z. All these allegations have been made against Sean Combs, Puff Daddy. Like, what do we do here? Like, because I can say I'm not going to support him, but like, there's no legal repercussion. Me and my one person choosing to not support something isn't going to make a difference in his life. You could get, thousands of people. He's still like, and that's where it's a lot of folks will go, well, I'm going to separate the art from the artist. I don't like him, but I'm going to listen to his old stuff. He's still getting paid for his old music when you listen to it. So like he's still getting revenue that way. Like at what point and how, and like you can't force someone to come forward when they're not ready. And it's
Yeah.
also such a gray area because it's like, unless you specifically know somebody that has actually been a victim, it's all like, it's very hearsay. So it's easy to be like, well, Michael Jackson wasn't officially convicted. He settled out of court with all these times. And like, oh, there's all these documentaries, but then like, oh, people have disproven what's been said in some of these documentaries. It's like, at what point is enough enough? Like, at what point do and it's hard because you don't want to, until people really come forward and are willing to sit in front of a court, in front of a judge, in front of a jury and make these claims. A lot of times they're able to settle things out of court and folks slip under the radar because there's no repercussion. And I can sit here and say, oh, I will never support a Harvey Weinstein movie. Slightly difficult when his hand was in everything.
Yeah.
Or I'm
Literally
not going to support
everything.
anyone, yeah. Or I'm not going to support anybody who flew on a Jeffrey Epstein plane. Okay, well, the Jeffrey Epstein planes, there was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people did or had interactions with him. He was a big person. So it's like, oh, do I think that Tom Hanks had any involvement in what was going on? No, but he's named on the logs two or three times because he knew the man. And like when you're that powerful and and someone says, oh, I need to get here or here. Oh, let me call my friend Jeffrey Epstein. He has a private jet and we'll get you here. And stuff like that happens. And it's hard to, it's really hard to make a boycott work because you essentially need everyone on board. And without insurmountable proof, and even with explicit proof, Felicia Rashad still to this day claims Bill Cosby's innocent.
Yeah.
To this day.
There's always going to be that 1% or that
Yep.
no one's going 100% of the people are never going to agree on 100% of the issues. And I don't care what issue it
Yep.
is. I can walk out and say the sky's blue and they'll say, no, it's turquoise. And that's that. Um,
Yep.
but going back to that original sort of rant that you gave there, which was a great rant, I should say, the best rant, the awesome rant, the most beautiful rant that I've ever seen. Um, you're right. There are people who will say we need to stop Sean Combs from making money, but there's going to be people who say I support Sean Combs, and I'm not one of them. I know I have nothing against his. I'm assuming his music. I've never heard any of his music, but I'm just not a fan. So I'm just going to leave that there. But there are other celebrities who I have cut out, and I know I'm just one person who I can say I don't listen to their stuff anymore. I don't read their books anymore. I don't watch their movies anymore. Case in point, J.K. Rowling. I'm not a big fan with all the allegations that have come out against what she said or the things that she has written about or tweeted about or X'd about or whatever you want to call it now. It's just not something I will do. There are people who are in very harder places than that who don't agree with what she says, but they still like the Harry Potter films. And there's a Harry Potter TV show coming out now. So cancel culture, while it's there, um, it is not for everyone, and not everyone is going to agree on who we should cancel. And I think if you disagree with what Sean Combs did, if he's proven guilty, don't want to listen to his music, don't. If you're going to,
Yeah.
I don't care. No skin off my back. But I'm just saying that don't tell me I shouldn't not listen to something because I like it if you don't give me the opportunity to say that to you. There's my own
Yeah.
little pre-rant to you as well. But before we go off of this has sort of captured the world and captured sort of the eyes of the entertainment industry, but it's not that big though. And I say that as in like I don't see court TV running 24/7 about this like they did with Gwyneth Paltrow's court case, with the Menendez brothers, with O.J. Simpson's court case. I know there's no cameras allowed, and I think they did that for a right reason, for whatever requirements that are needed. But could this be brushed under the rug here, or is this the career ending, no matter how the court comes out at the end of this, for Sean Combs and his gang of misfits? Let's put it that way.
Oh, this is career ending for him. Not unfortunately, but this is career ending for him. If he is found innocent, like actually, this everybody knows this is going on. Everybody is following it. I think that you're not seeing the fervor that we saw with like Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp because there's not cameras in the courtroom because of the subject material, because you can't like have explicit content on the daily TV. Um, you're gonna see a lot less of it. But what's happening is, especially on like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, you're seeing a lot of lawyers pop up who are like, "Hi, let me explain to you what's going on since we can't physically see it." That are following it and now basically making this a big platform. There's at least four lawyers on my TikTok that keep popping up that every day explain to me what happened. Um, I don't always understand it because I'm not a lawyer and I don't understand lawyer speak. But hey, I'm thoroughly getting my information. But this is unless it like comes out that like she was like a plant sent to like ruin him and like she has ties to like a foreign enemy or something. Unless like something like that comes out, I don't see how he bounces back from this. He might get a little bit of a like bounce back, but there's no universe where he's gonna be the name that he was.
I would say I agree, but we all saw what happened with Kevin Spacey. So let's just leave it at there and head off to story number three. You're looking at your eyes are rolling up a little bit.
No,
He's just
Kevin, he's nowhere.
he's got cast in two new movies.
Big movies are like B movies.
A movie's a movie. It's one rain at a time, going up the ladder again, right? Who knows?
We'll
Anyway,
see.
we'll head off to the story number three, and two of Canada's most beloved television institutions are proving that staying power is alive and well north of the 49th parallel. First up, saddle up and get ready to ride, because the lives, loves, and enduring resilience of the Bartlett, Fleming, Morris Borden family are far from over. CBC has officially renewed Heartland for a remarkable 19th season. That's right, what began back in 2007 as a quiet family drama on the Alberta Plains has grown into the longest running hour-long scripted drama in Canadian television history, with stars like Amber Marshall, Michelle Morgan, Sean Johnston, and Chris Potter still holding down the hearts of the series. Heartland continues to deliver stories from healing, connection, and second chances set against the breathtaking beauty of rural Canada. But that's not the only long-running favorite turning heads and being renewed for, again, the 19th season. Step back into time, way back into the early 1900s, Toronto, where another Canadian export continues to thrive on screens around the world. Murdoch Mysteries, one of the country's top-selling international series, follows the brilliant and unflappable Detective William Murdoch, played by Yannick Beeson. Using cutting-edge techniques like fingerprinting and trace evidence, Murdoch brings a scientific edge to solving the city's most baffling crimes decades before Gil Grissom of CSI made it cool. With a rotating cast of historical icons from Arthur Conan Doyle to Mark Twain and appearances from guest stars across the globe, Murdoch Mysteries has found a sweet spot between smart, stylish, and addictive storytelling, and I am a fan of Murdoch Mysteries, and I'm so happy I get to talk about this story, Mike. But before I sort of go into my rant on this one, in the States, it is rare to see TV shows last this long. 19 seasons is rare. I think I can name two that are there, and I think one of them is Grey's Anatomy, and we all
Grey's
know how
Anatomy. I
we
was
we,
thinking that.
we both feel about. Why is it that other countries can make TV shows last longer than American because American, you get like 5 seasons and you're done, if that.
How lengthy are your seasons? Do you like adapt the British model, which is like a 13
No,
episode series?
some are 13, some are 18, some are 20. It all depends on what the season is. If CBC feels like they want to feel like nice to you, they'll throw in a few extra bucks to you, and then you get like a 20 season run. I think the Murdoch Mysteries, the last 3 seasons of Murdoch Mysteries, so 18, 17, and 16, were all 18 episodes long. A few before that were like 6 episodes. It all depends on writer strikes and sort of the ACTRA, sort of basically what you guys do. But with Canadian sitcoms or TV shows, we often have this. If we're on strike, that's great. We'll go on strike, but the moment the strike is done, the next season picks up like in October. So we don't have like that traditional. Your show is automatically going to be airing September to May. It's like, oh, we can fit you in December to June, so that's when your season's gonna be.
Yeah, a lot of the long-running shows in the US tend to follow a soap opera style that folks don't like to associate. Like, say what you will about Grey's Anatomy, baby, that's a soap opera. Say what you will about Law and Order SVU, baby, that's a soap opera. Like, it's really hard to make something like I'm trying to think of a good one that like Ugly Betty technically should have been a soap opera, wasn't. Like the shows that craft a storyline, those have a very difficult time being long running. And sitcoms are only funny till they're not. Like Modern Family, 10 seasons, Friends, 10 seasons, Will and Grace, I think they had the eight and then they brought back three more, so it technically has 11. It's really hard because eventually it's like, how many times can you make the same jokes? How many times can you make the same, like, hammer in the same point? And with a storyline, like Yellow Jackets planned for 5 seasons, it's done. Handmaid's Tale is in its final season, which I thought that was going to run for a while. Um, it's just I don't know what it is that captures the attention of the audience, and I find now that shows in the US are having shorter and shorter and shorter, like full, like multiple seasons. Like you tend to see a limited series run of shows more regularly now, and I think that's what has allowed American Horror Story to stay and have some staying power is because every you can say, okay, this season doesn't work for me, I'll come back next season and it's a brand new season.
Yeah, it's the anthology rather than the continuity, right? Because you don't need to be invested into
Yep.
12 different actors. You're like, okay, this person slept with this person who is married to this person who went to
Yeah.
work with this person, where in anthology, it's, oh, that person was in last season, but he's no longer, it's no longer the hotel concierge, it's the world-ending apocalyptic god. And you're like, okay, understandable. So I get it. I will just go back to the Murdoch Mysteries for a second because I think, and this is just me being me as a Canadian of the Canadian show about Canadian entertainment. If you have not seen this show, it is probably one of the best Sherlock Holmes type of stories that you will ever see. It is beautifully shot, beautifully directed, beautifully written. It has great guest stars from across America and the States and even in Britain. It originally started with, and I can't remember his name right now, and I'm blanking on the original Murdoch, and I apologize because he's a famous Canadian actor and he's an American actor, and he started off in Britain. But I will get back to you on that in next season, next episode, and that will be the first thing I say. But if you haven't, if you are an American watching this, I would highly recommend, or listening to this, I would highly recommend you go to Acorn TV because I think that's a thing down there, according to what I've figured out. And Acorn TV, where you got Schitt's Creek, is a place where you can also watch Heartland and you can watch Murdoch Mysteries. Yannick Beeson, for those who may not know him, was in the TV show Sue Thomas FBI as an FBI because she was a deaf FBI agent and she had a seeing eye dog, and he was in that show. His wife has been on a few shows in America, but I don't remember what they were. She's not as big as him here in Canada, but it's a great show. It is an easy watch, and I highly recommend you get it because you will not be upset. There's our rant for that little 2 second end. Heartland's great. For those who know the HBO show with Brian Kinney, for those who might know that name, Queer as Folk is the name of it. The one of the main fathers, the ranchers on that show, was one of the boyfriends on Queer as Folk. So
Love.
there's your little connection to the LGBTQ community. So
Can I admit something?
go for it.
When you sent me this as a topic, I did not click the link. I went, oh, the Murdoch murders. Oh, I forgot that had another season. So I asked my husband, who's obsessed with true crime, and he gave me a 5 hour rundown of the Murdoch murders so I could be prepared for this. Color me surprised when it was nothing to do with that. And it's a show about like solving mysteries. Ooh, well, color me surprised.
And now we're going to turn to our questions from our audience. For those who want to, please send us your message on all social media platforms and our website, Cross Border Interviews, or if you want, send us a message through Rogers TV. Now, our questions for today comes from Sandra from Calgary, who writes, quote, "Hey, Mike, I've noticed over time that you really seem to enjoy Broadway and talk about it a lot on the show with genuine enthusiasm, which I love." Sandra, you're alone on that one. I'm not so much of that favor. But I've always been curious, Sandra writes. Has there ever been a show that you personally didn't enjoy at all, even though it got glowing reviews from critics and seemed to be loved by everyone else? I recently saw In Calgary 6, the musical, and honestly, I just didn't connect with it. I found it kind of underwhelming and wasn't sure what all the hype was about. But when I looked up later, I realized that critics seem to adore it. And now I feel like maybe I'm the odd one out. Have you ever had a similar experience where you just didn't see what all the fuss was about? I'd love to hear your take, Sandra. Go, Mike. What's your thoughts on Sandra's question?
Sandra, I want you to come in close when I say this. I also hated Six. My husband also hated Six. Did not like it, did not like the format. I also was underwhelmed. I went, oh, the songs are great. I wonder what the story looks like. The story? Who? She don't know a story. It's just a concert. And it's a great concert. And I love that it's resonating with folks and folks are getting their whole lives made. I didn't love it. I really didn't love it. I thought it was so bad. My husband turned to me after the first song and goes, I think we're in danger. And then after the second song, I turned to him and I said, I think we are in danger. And then by the third song, we looked at each other and went, I don't like this. Why did we spend so much money? So I agree with you, Sandra. I I'm not a fan of Six. I can recognize that it is a great show for other people, not me. I that happens regularly. And my husband and I regularly disagree also. He did not like Strange Loop. I loved it. Um, we frequently find that when him and I go see shows, there's stuff that I really love that he hates and vice versa. But Six is one of those that like critics just adored. Everyone I talk to just like loves Six. And I'm just sitting over here going, it was fine. It was fine. It was fine. It was fine. It was
Okay,
fine.
but you copped out there a little bit. You copped out by saying to Sandra you agree with her. But she asked what show specifically would you say that you did not like that was universally loved within Broadway. And you can't pick six because she wants to know from you what your show is. What's the one that you saw that you would say, because it seems like you and Sandra have the same taste in Broadway shows. I could be wrong, but it sounds like
She
that.
has good taste.
There you
Sandra has
go.
great taste.
So what's the recommendation of this one was universally loved, but girl, don't see it.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna push back. Six is that for me. Like, if you had asked me and had not told me that she had said six, I would have said six
Okay.
because I just didn't like it. And like, normally, if the crit, I don't know. I just didn't like it. Moulin Rouge comes to mind as another one that I just didn't like that the critics kind of liked. It's hard because a lot of times the critics tend to be very middle of the road lately. And when you look at six, saying six and that you don't like six in certain situations, folks lose their minds. Hamilton's another one. Do not like Hamilton. Not for me. No, I don't find it fun. I don't find it engaging. I think the most interesting parts of that show are the women and Elizabeth, Eliza, and Peggy, and yes, tap you in. I'll tap you in.
Tap me in for a second. Wouldn't it be great if Six the Musical was just the women from Hamilton and the Six the Musical women went to Hamilton? Then you'd have two, one really good Broadway show and one really bad Broadway show. Bam. Mic drop for anyone
I
who's listening to that.
I just didn't love. I just don't like. I didn't like Hamilton. I found that Angelica Schuyler and Eliza Schuyler were the only two characters I cared about. Six was I just it wasn't for me, and that's okay. I'm a big fan of saying, it doesn't need to be for me, it can be for other people. One that the critics hated that I loved, Bad Cinderella. The more I think about it, I really do like Bad Cinderella. I thought it was a hoot. I think the worst part of it was that Cinderella had too much airtime. If she had not been there, show would have been perfect.
Bad person who is not here show. That would be the great show.
Or just
Awesome.
rewrite it.
There you go. Sandra, thank you for your question. And yes, we do have time for one more. And this time it comes from Teresa from Thompson, Manitoba, who writes, Hey, Chris and Mike, I just caught your last episode of That's Entertainment. I have got to say, it was such a fun watch. Thanks for keeping things entertaining and insightful. First off, Teresa, thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully,
Thank
you're watching this
you.
right now. Greatly appreciate it. Let's go back to your question. I have a question that's been on my mind lately, and I'd love to hear your take on it. What, in your opinion, actually makes someone a big celebrity? I feel like the term gets thrown around so loosely these days. For example, I constantly see the Kardashians mentioned online and in the media, and while I get that they're super well known, I personally think of them as more as influencers than traditional celebrities. Do you guys make that distinction too? And when it comes down to it, who would you say is the single biggest star in the world right now? Like that one person who has truly transcended industries, borders, and platforms to become a global icon. I'm so curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much, Teresa. Teresa, I'm going to start first because Mike just went on a rant for himself. So I'm going to start here. I agree. I'm so happy that you sent this because I agree that the Kardashians are not celebrities. They are influencers, they're business people, but they are not celebrities. The line of celebritism slash business people has been blurred because of the Kardashians. The Kardashians are known for selling themselves. They sell the product of the Kardashians. They are not known because of something, they are known because of themselves. And I think that is the distinction that I draw. Um, Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, they're known for acting. Kardashians are known for being the Kardashians. Like they are known because of who they are and not because of what they've done. I don't think many people would agree with that statement. I think I might be alone in the fact that I think that the Kardashians are not celebrities. I don't find them, and I say this respectfully and not respectfully at the same time. If you took the Kardashians out of this world and just like literally blipped them out of existence, the world would continue on. I think there you can say that about a lot of celebrities in today's world. But the one thing I can say is if you Meryl Streep brings something to the table. Like she is a great actress, in my opinion. And if you blipped her out of existence, there are some movies that would not work without Meryl Streep. That's just my own personal opinion. There is a place for her in the role. So I would consider her more of a celebrity. So that's the first part of your question that I wanted to answer. And before I get to the second part of the question, I'm going to throw it over to Mike. And what do you consider as a celebrity in 2025? And do you think the Kardashians are, as Teresa says?
So I'm going to push back a little. Like Kim Kardashian has started appearing in television shows. She was in American Horror Story. She started working with Ryan Murphy on shows. She is getting, and I'm going to be honest, the reviews are coming back pretty positive about her ability to act. Like, I think it's really tricky, especially with, because when I look at the Kardashians, yes, I view them more as an influencer than as a celebrity. And there's tons of other folks that's the same way. But in how people consume media, a lot of Gen Z, the Alpha generation, even some younger millennials, they don't watch movies, they don't watch TV. They get all of their media consumption through TikTok, through YouTube. And so to them, somebody like a Jeffree Star, a Kim Kardashian, Tana Monjo, I don't know how to say her name. Those three, those folks are big names, are celebrities, are somebody that they would be excited to meet. And because they don't know like who a Meryl Streep is. They don't know who a Tom Hanks is. They know Chet Hanks because Chet Hanks is super popular. So they know his kid, they don't know him. And so it's so tricky because like a lot of these folks, the way I consume media, for me, I wouldn't necessarily view the Kardashians, but for some, that's the only thing they watch. That's the only thing they care about is with the Kardashians. They keep up with the Kardashians. They're watching their newest show, which is, I think, just called The Kardashians. Like, and to them, that's a celebrity. So it's such a weird thing also because of how media is consumed that like we all talking can sit here and go, how in the heck do you not know who Tom Hanks and Meryl Streep are? But I could point to three folks in their 20s that if you were to say, hey, can you name a Tom Hanks movie? Will look at me and go, who's Tom Hanks?
Well, I can say that about the three people that you mentioned: Star, Jojo,
Jeffree
Mojo.
Star and Tana
Yeah,
Mojo.
yeah. I maybe that's my age showing, and I should just mention I'm not 60 according to the waitress in Prince Rupert, British Columbia, who thought I was 60 because my eyes show that. No, I'm not. But
No,
thank you so much for that very rude awakening.
no.
So, going back to the original question, the second part of the original question, who do you think is a big star, though? In this day and age, who do you think is that one global star that people know, that people can say that's a star, that can we universally agreed upon that there is that one person who is that star? Do you know it?
Beyonce.
Really?
Find me someone that my grandfather knows Beyonce. He hasn't listened to music since Frank Sinatra passed away. And he knows Beyonce. He don't like Beyonce, but he knows her. Like it's I think that especially Beyonce has been able to transcend her industry. She's in film. She's in TV. She's played the Super Bowl. She's done it. Like if I was thinking of celebrity like a big name like off the top of my head, who is one of the biggest celebrities, if not the biggest, she would come to my head. Dolly Parton. Folks know Dolly Parton. Folks love Dolly Parton. Everybody has an opinion. Like for me, it's who is a name that I could throw out to anybody to have somebody have some kind of opinion about. That to me, I think would be a celebrity versus like I said, I could throw out Jeffree Star. You're not going to know who he is. Someone else might. I could throw out Beyonce. You have an opinion about Beyonce. Lord knows we know you have an opinion about Beyonce.
I have no
Um,
idea what you're talking about, Mr. Nichols Bate. I do not have an
mhm,
opinion about that.
mhm.
Um, okay, respectfully agree to disagree on your opinion. But for me, and I was trying to think about this when I was reading this question this morning, and I think there's only one person who came to mind over and over again. And I'm not sure if it's globally, but I think he is so well known that he is kind of sort of the standard bearer of what celebritism is in the movie industry right now, and that is Robert Downey Jr. And I think the only reason I say that is because, and I don't even think it's him, I think it's the Marvel IP that is more fixated around him because people know him as Iron Man, as now as Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, as people may know him as the upcoming Doomsday. But I think like people have an opinion on him, whether he is good, he is bad. People know him from his struggles that he did in the 80s and 90s. I think he, in my opinion, he has become that sort of global celebrity icon of what nerds are all about, and people hold him in such revere. Like he is saving the movie industry with so much going on right now because people are putting so much weight into Marvel right now because they're hopeful that it doesn't screw up and go downhill. But that's my own personal opinion. So Teresa, in my opinion, I would say, but then again, Taylor Swift. Everyone has an opinion about Taylor.
Another one.
Yeah, everyone has an opinion on Taylor Swift, but everyone knows who Taylor Swift is. Lady Gaga, I would even say, is getting up there too. Like we just saw what happened in Brazil. There are so many, but in my opinion, the one that I look at is Robert Downey Jr. But then again, that's just
Hmm.
me. Teresa, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for submitting your question. Sandra from Calgary. I'm in Calgary too. Me up. Love to chat with you. Love to continue this conversation to figure out why you are so like my co-host, Mike Nichols Pate. Mike, always a pleasure. That is another edition of That's Entertainment with No, Not Them. Always a pleasure to sit down with you. And
Likewise.
for those who don't know, Mike and I have known each other for now about 5.5 years, almost 5 years, coming up on 6 years almost, and we have never officially fully met. But this weekend, as of recording this, I'm heading out to Eastern Canada and I'm taking a car and I'm driving down to Vermont to see Mike Nichols in a play. And I'm going to slow clap the entire time that he is on stage.
No, you won't. No, you
Yes,
won't. No,
yes,
you
I
won't.
will.
No, you
Yes, I
won't.
will.
You will not.
So, from me, Chris Brown, and Mike Nichols, always a pleasure. And we'll be back next month with a brand new episode of That's Entertainment with me, Chris Brown, and
Me, Mike Nichols.